XPS Foam, do we need to prime it before we paint it? It's the question that's been keeping all of us up all night for so many years. And today I'm going to be doing some tests and answering that question in full. Hi there, Chris from Goodness Scenery, and yeah, in today's video I'm going to be taking some blue foam, I'm going to be taking some black foam, and we're going to be doing 3 different tests on it. So on one piece I'm not going to prime it at all, on another piece I am going to spray paint on it, and the final one I'm going to put a mixture of PVA glue and paint on to seal it. Once that's dried, I'm going to be taking some different coloured paints and painting over the top of it to see what the impact is and see what result it gives. Because the question of whether you need to prime it or not, to a degree, is going to be dependent on the results that you're trying to get from your painting. So I'm going to be doing this test, I'm going to be doing the hard work for you and giving you the definitive answer. So we're going to start off with these pieces here, which we're not going to prime. That was quick. And then now we're going to move on to these 2 here, which we are going to prime with a black spray paint. Now this is just quick dry black matte spray paint. Now it's often said on the terrain building forums and groups on Facebook and things that you cannot use spray paint on foam, and that simply isn't true. You can spray paint foam, it's just about how you do it. Now, when you, if you look at the instructions on the can, which no one ever does, it does actually give a distance away, which you should keep the can when you're spraying. Now, that's because there are propellants in this, and that's kind of what actually eats away at the foam. When you see foam melting, it's because too much of that gets on the foam. The paint itself is just paint, so it's not going to do anything to it. So, when you see me spraying this in a minute, I'm going to be keeping the can a nice distance away, and I mean, it does mean that you're probably going to end up using a little bit more paint than if you were up close, but the results are going to be that you end up with foam that isn't melted. Well, hopefully, let's find out now. Another tip when using spray paint is to keep the can moving as you're spraying. So don't just hold it in one place and spray it all out. Move it side to side as you are spraying. Now, whilst that spray paint is melting that foam into oblivion, I'm going to show you the very difficult thing of making the primer for the other stage, for these ones. It's tricky, follow along. So you're going to take some white glue, PVA glue. I firmly believe that Mod Podge is a lie. Tell me I'm wrong. I think this is £18 for 5 litres. This is enough to, last you forever. Even if you do a lot of other crafting. So we're going to put 50-50 mixer. We're going to eyeball a similar amount of paint, and then we're just going to mix it. When I said it was complicated, I may have been being sarcastic / lying to you. So I am going to call that done. See that with kind of slightly thicker paint. Gloopy, that's what it is. I'm going to grab a brush. I have a brush. Don't use your lovely brushes that you use for painting your miniatures. It's always good to keep old brushes, cracked brushes that you can just use for things like this. So, yeah, unsurprisingly, the next step is just to slap this on. So the primer's all dry now, and I want to start by showing you the differences between them. So obviously you don't need to worry about the 2 which have nothing done to them. But if we compare the blue and the black foam that have been spray painted here, you can see that the coverage with the spray paint on the blue one here is nowhere near as good. And if you look as well, the surface of it has melted a little bit, even though I sprayed them from exactly the same distance. The black foam just looks like it's kind of black coating on it, whereas this actually looks a lot more like tarmac. And if you've seen any of my industrial type series, then I've actually used the fact that foam can do that to make a tarmac type effect. So although that may be not what you're going for, it is usable in some circumstances. Now, with the ones what we put the PVA glue and paint mix, I did put a second coat on just because it was looking a bit thin on both. So I'm just going to show you there. And again, the coverage on the blue is nearly as good as the black, but not quite as good. But they look like good surfaces to be working on. Now next up, I've got 7 different coloured paints here. No, sorry, 6 different coloured paints. I'm not going to bother doing black on there. And I'm going to do a stripe on each one, and we're going to have them dry, and then you can see what the results are going to be like. So let me bring you in for that. So starting with our white here. It already feels like it's not going on particularly well, but you know, I was kind of very much expecting that. Definitely feel like I'm more getting into the foam on that one there. So now the spray paint one with a white stripe. I can feel the texture that's been created with that melting as I'm painting it. And here it feels like it's going on a lot better. And then finally our primed ones. That's by far the smoothest brush stroke so far, and probably exactly the same on that as well. So I'm going to colour these other colours, he said very fluently, and then we'll see what they're like once they are dried. So that's all the painting done. Let's come back to it when it is dry. So it's the following day and these are all dry now. So let me bring you in close to show you what I think about this, and let's talk through the results. So just for clarity, this row here is the blue foam, this is the black foam, this is unprimed, this is spray primed, and this is with a glue paint mix. So immediately looking at this one, you can see how streakily the paint has gone on. I mean, only the blue has really gone well, and I honestly think that if I lick my finger and rub, you can see how you can basically just be able to wipe all of that off. So if you're using blue foam or pink foam, which I think is basically the same, then you can't get away with no priming whatsoever. So that's good to know. Now, different with the black though. The black foam, I think it's got a slightly different surface to it, so it's a bit more porous, so it actually has taken in some of the paint. So what we notice, if we compare it to the colours which are here, what we've got essentially is if it's unprimed, then the paint goes on fine. It's not particularly streaky or anything. The black just really sucks the colour out of it, which can actually be a really good thing, because with a lot of my projects and a lot of my work, I don't want really bright, vibrant colours, because that's not what I'm tending to go with. So I actually tend to use black foam unprimed for a lot of stuff, because I know that I can put an orange on or a yellow on, and it's really gonna pull the colour out of it. So yeah, you can get away with it with black foam, but not if you want to have your colours kind of super vibrant. So that's what we've got with the unprimed ones. Now with the spray primed ones, the big difference between the blue foam and the black foam. So made the note before that the surface of this has begun to melt, but then it's solidified again. And as I mentioned earlier, you can use that if you want to have add some really easy way to add some texture to the surface. Problem with it does make it slightly more difficult to paint in an even way, because you really got to get into the details in order to get full coverage. So you'll see as we've painted this that there are bits where the paint hasn't got into it, because I was just literally painting over it quickly. Different again with the black foam. So the surface of this I don't think has changed at all by being spray painted. If I had the can up close, then it would have been a different story, but spraying from the correct distance, you can do this absolutely fine. And you'll notice that the colours compared to the unprimed are just a little bit more vibrant, not massively so, because you're still painting onto black, but they are just a touch more vibrant, and I feel like the coverage is better, and it's a nice surface to paint onto. So that brings us finally onto these ones here, which are the ones where we put a couple of layers of paint and PVA glue mixed together. All of them, the paint's gone on really, really nicely, really, really smoothly. Obviously, I have just kind of slapped it on rather than trying to, paint it like you might paint something, but you can see that the colours are a much better match to the colour that originally went down. So you're getting a much truer representation of the colour you're painting down. So if you really want to have that consistency and knowing exactly what the colour is going to look like, it is going to look like what you paint it on as. Maybe just a touch darker, but this is just literally one coat of it. So a couple of coats, once it's been primed with this PVA glue and black paint mix, a couple of coats on that, and you'll have exactly the colour that you were intending for. So what do I think about all this? Well, let's cut to another angle. So I'm really glad that I've done this because it's kind of confirmed a couple of things that I knew already. But so let's talk about this. So if you are using blue foam or pink foam, then you cannot get away with not priming. You just literally can't. It will just look horrendous. It's not worth it. Just spend the extra time, extra money doing whatever. With the spray paint with blue foam, you can do it, but you're going to have to be happy working with a surface like that, and maybe that's the surface you're going for. So basically, if you're working with blue foam or pink foam, then you do need to do some sort of priming, and the simplest way of doing that is just by getting some black paint, getting some PVA glue, mixing it together, and just putting a couple of coats on. It's going to take a while for a couple of coats to dry, but it's going to give you a nice surface to work on. Now, different story with the black foam, and this is more or less why I use black foam over blue or pink foam, as well as I find it easier to get hold of in good sheets at a good price. I'll put a link in the description to the foam that I use. So you can do it unprimed like that, and then you get a slightly dulled and version of the colours. You can spray prime it. You know, if you just really wanted to get something done quickly, because that's going to dry a lot quicker than the other sort of prime, or you can go the whole hog and you do a couple of coats of the PVA glue and paint mix, and that is going to give you your best painting surface. So for me, the variety that the black foam gives you means it's worthwhile working with that rather than the blue or pink foam, in my opinion. So put something in the comments, tell me why I'm wrong. This video set out to answer the question, do you need to prime XPS foam before you paint it? And the answer is, it depends. Yeah, in short, blue foam, pink foam, yes, definitely one way or the other. Black foam, it depends what you're going for. If you want a duller look, then don't prime it. If you want it to be nice and vibrant and to be absolutely guaranteed to know what sort of colour you're getting, then yes, do prime it. As to whether you use PVA paint mix or a spray can, depends on how much time you have. If you want to get it done quickly, use a spray can. Time is not of the essence. You can just get away with the mix. So anyway, hope you've enjoyed this video. It's been interesting for me to test these things and to be able to show you them. So let me know what you think of the whole thing in the comments. Tell me if I've done something wrong, or just your general opinion on the whole thing. But if you've enjoyed this, then please hit the like button. Please subscribe to the channel as well. And if you're looking for more projects, whether they be beginner or advanced, then you can check out these videos, which are appearing somewhere on the screen now. I don't know where, I've just pointed in a few random directions. Anyway, I'll catch you for another video soon. Oh, little duck. Hello. Well then. Astrid says use black foam